Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido, and today it is the Kitakami Rogues going up against the Pastoria Hydras as the Rogues are sitting on the bottom of the leaderboard. They need a victory here, coming off a clean sweep defeat, but the Pastoria Hydras also coming off a clean sweep defeat, but they are fortunately sitting in second place and they want to guarantee their spot in the first ever victory road of the PokeType League TCG. So with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the Darkness decks? Will it be the Water decks? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And going first, it is going to be that Poison Pins deck for the Kitakami Rogues as they put the Nidorino male, the only basic Pokemon they pulled, into the active spot against the Shoulder from the Shell Armor deck of the Pastoria Hydras. They both only have one basic Pokemon each, but it is the Professor's Research being pulled for the Kitakami Rogues. They're first going to use though that Pokeball that was already in hand to get the Zubat out of their deck, and they've already got the Golbat as well, plus the Nidorina and Nidorino. They pull a second Nidorino and they get the Nidoking as well. They are going to put that Zubat onto the bench and send it over to the Hydros to make their first turn. They've also pulled a Pokeball, having already got that Professor's Research in hand as well. They use the Pokeball to get a Shelter. They've got a Wartortle in hand, so they want a Squirtle and potentially a Blastoise to try and get that online, but they do get a Lapras and a second Pokeball as well, so they can get another basic Pokemon out of their deck, get in the second Lapras, and they've got that all-important Misty in their hand already as well, but they've already used the supporter, so they can't play that this turn. Putting the two Lapras out, they get the first energy here onto the Shoulder, so I can go for that Tongue Slap, getting 20 damage onto that Nidorino male. And it is the second Nidorina being pulled for the Kitakami Rogues as well. Now they need to think about what they want to do here, because they can't get this Nidorino male back onto the bench, but to use a Nidorino it does require 2 energy here. They can get that Golbat online, but they cannot get it into the active spot, so they'll have to go for the Peck with this Nidorino male doing 20 damage to that Shoulder. But they can rest assured that even if that Cloyster was pulled, it does require 3 energy. There's the Squirtle though being pulled for the Pastoria Hydras, and it is the Misty. It is going to be the coin flips for the Pastoria Hydras, and they get a heads. They need to get 4, but they only get 1, getting that Tails that cuts off that Misty flip, but they still get an additional energy here onto one of these Lapras, but it can maximize its damage if it has 4 water energy on it. Another Tongue Slap though, 20 damage onto the Nidorino male. There's a Nidorino female being pulled for the Kitakami Rogues. They've already got the Nidorinas in hand as well. They've got the Nidorinos, so now they can get these Nidorinos online, but they're thinking about how they may want to play this. They don't want to lose the chance to set up that Nidoking. But they do put the Nidorino out onto that active Nidorino male. It has evolved, and with this Horn attack they will be able to take the first point and take Shelter out of this match. Again, there's the first point for the Kitakami Rogues, as both these sides are coming off clean sweep defeats, and no matter what happens we will always go into our third game because they do count towards the leaderboard. But there's the Cloyster now being pulled for the Pastoria Hydras. They've already got that second Shoulder in hand as they put that Wartortle onto the Squirtle on the bench. They're going to put the Shoulder onto the bench as well. And the Hydra is looking to set up this Lapras that's in the active spot. They still need 1 more water energy on it, but they can get that 20 damage from the Hydro Pump here on to the Nidorino, but they're unaware of the Nidoking that is in hand for the Kitakami Rogues. There's the Nidorina being put online, and it is a second Nidorino female that was just pulled from the deck of the Rogues. They can put that online as well, but here it is, this Nidoking. It will do 90 damage to the Lapras, but it also leaves it with that poison status condition, and that is going to take the Lapras off the bench. Those 3 energies are now in the discard pile, and the Rogues have got 2 points already in this first game. There is not much they can do to handle this Nidoking right now. They're going to put the Shoulder out though. They do have that Cloyster. They pull the Blastoise. This is crucial. They need to get 3 energy onto this Blastoise though, so that it can do 80 damage to the Nidoking, which is still not enough to take it out. Now with the crucial part with the Cloyster is it has that Shell Armor ability that does reduce damage by 10, so that Nidoking will only do 80 as a Nidoqueen is pulled for the Kitakami Rogues. They're getting all the cards they need now as they can start setting up other Pokemon on their bench besides the Nidoking, getting that first energy onto the Nidoqueen. But here it is, the Poison Horn. It will do 80 damage to the Cloyster, but that additional 10 from the poisoning, and at this point the Hydros cannot retreat it either. They've pulled the second Cloyster. This is terrible. There is nothing right now that the Hydros can do and they are well aware of it. They put that energy onto the Blastoise, they're sending it over to the Rogues. The poison takes effect, but this Nidoking is about to wipe this Cloyster off the field. They're not worrying about the energy, they're just going for the elimination. They take it out and they get that 3rd point. The Rogues have taken game 1 over the Pastoria Hydros. And this is not the start that the Hydros wanted. They weren't even able to get a single point there in game 1, but here in game 2, the Rogues have flipped heads. They will be going first once again. This time they're using the Toxic Energy deck, going up against that Frozen Pond deck of the Hydros, going with the Venipede in the active spot, their only basic Pokemon. The Hydros going with the Poliwag, their only basic Pokemon. They've got the Poliwrath in hand, but they do need that Poliwhirl here. As we said, it is the Rogues going first. They pull the potion. They've got a Pokeball, so they can get a second basic Pokemon here. Getting the Purloin perfect, as they've got that Liepard already in hand, and they've got an X-Speed as well, plus that Muck. And unable to do much else, they send it over to the Hydros, who do get that Poliwhirl. That is fantastic for them. They can start setting up this Poliwag to try and get that Poliwrath online as soon as possible. It only does 10 damage though to the Venipede, as it's the Professor's Research being pulled for the Kitakami Rogues here. And they're going to play that immediately, getting those 2 extra cards out of their deck. They get the Whirlipede and they get the Scolipede. That is massive for the Rogues, as they can start setting up this Whirlipede here. It only takes 1 energy, but it will also leave this Poliwag with the Poison status condition, and that is a very crucial aspect. However, with that said, the Hydros will surely evolve that Poliwag as soon as possible, which will cure it of that poisoning. So here it is, the 20 damage. It will get that additional 10. This Toxic Energy loves to poison the opposing sides, similar to what we saw Nidoking do in the previous matchup. But the Misty has been pulled now for the Hydros. They will be able to evolve this Poliwag into the Poliwhirl. Now Poliwhirl has 60 health remaining, which is fantastic, but what they're unaware of is that Scolipede is in hand for the Kitakami Rogues. It only requires 1 more energy so that it can start going on the offensive. The Grimer is pulled for the Kitakami Rogues. They are going to put that onto the bench, but this Scolipede will do 70 damage to this Poliwhirl. It is going to take it off the board, and there's no Pokemon on the bench for the Hydros. So just like this, the Rogues are going to take game 2 because there was no bench Pokemon for the Hydros. They have won this series because the Hydros were unable to get the cards that they needed. Such a quick second game. We're going to go straight into game 3 because this does still count towards the leaderboard, so the Hydros need to do their best. They're going first this time, flipping heads, using that Aquatic Ambience deck. And we can see the Finneon, and I believe it is the Tentacle in hand as well that they can put into the active spot. They do opt to go with the Finneon. They're going up against the Kitakami Rogues Rocket's Pursuit deck. They've got the Ekans in hand. They've already got 2 Arbok in hand as well, so they put that Ekans out. But here we go, game 3. That was such a quick game too with that turnaround. That was not good for the Pastoria Hydros, losing this series so quickly. And they send it over to the Rogues. They can't do much else. It is the Meowth being pulled for the Rogues, and they've got the Persian in hand as well, plus the X-Speed, so they can choose who they want to use as their main offensive Pokemon right now. Going with the Ekans, that will do 20 damage to this Finneon here. It does come back over to the Hydros, pulling the Golduck. They do not have a Psyduck in hand, as they've got the X-Speed though, so they're going to set up the Tentacle, who they can evolve into the Tentacle. They're going to leave Finneon out there to take more damage from this Ekans that will surely be finished off by the Arbok. But it's the second Ekans being pulled for the Kitakami Rogues as well. The Persian online for the Rogues on the bench, but here is the Arbok as well. And with this corner, it's going to do 60 damage to take Finneon out, getting a very quick first point for the Kitakami Rogues Rocket Pursuit deck. Again, this is not good for the Hydros. They are having a terrible run, having a clean sweep defeat last round. They do not want that again here today, as next round they're going up against the Mellow Rumbles, who have not lost a series, and the Hydros looked like a side that would be able to take them down. But there's the Poison Tentacles from Tentacle doing 50 damage to the Arbok, but it leaves it with that poisoning, as well as the Rogues can start setting up both their Ekans, so they're surely going to evolve into an Arbok shortly, and that Persian that are on the bench. They've just pulled the Weezing, getting that first energy onto the benched Arbok, knowing that this corner will do 60, make it so Tentacle cannot retreat, but Arbok will be an easy target for this Tentacle to eliminate. And and it's the second Finneon being pulled for the Pastoral Hydra as they immediately put that onto the bench. They are going to get an energy here onto it, but this is not looking good here for the Hydros in game 3, but they're able to take their first point, taking out that first Arbok off the table. It is 1 point each to both of these sides. And the Rogues immediately, they are not wasting any time. They put that Arbok into the active spot. They're well aware of how they want to approach this. They can get that second energy on, and this will take the Tentacruel off the board. And already the Rogues have got 2 points here in game 3. This is one of our quickest series that we have seen so far this season, after having just come off one of our longest matches that we've seen in Season A1. But it is the Finneon into the active spot for the Hydras. They pull the Psyduck, and this is terrible for the Hydras because they have no Pokemon that can outlast a move from this Arbok here. So they're just going to go with the Water Gun. There's nothing left for the Hydros to do. The Kitakami Rogues are in full control from the very start. They pull another Weezing. They're not concerned with that. They go straight for the corner, showing full respect, not messing about, and taking the Finneon off the board. And the Kitakami Rogues take the clean sweep. The Hydros losing 2 series in a row without winning a single game. Whereas for the Rogues, this will move them up into 6th place, as the next round they are going up against the Cinnabar Blazers. But as we mentioned, the Hydros will be going up against the Melamela Rumbles 1v2. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought the best card was. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, send thanks. And I'll see you when you see me.